Lin Jie was playing Mr. Invincible in his former life. This of course gave him a burnout, so now he just slacks off, lazing the day away. As there's no social security check, bro has become a peasant with no job and a family that kinda hates him. His daddy ran away, his mama ran too. The only person still putting up with his hobo behavior is his baby sis, Lin Wan. But she's sick of the she, so she kicks him to the curb. Get lost, big bro. Outside, an event is occurring in celebration of humanity's survival against all odds. Odds being giant evil beasts and monsters that saw us a delicious tempura snack and tried to gobble us by the mouthfuls. It all began in the year 2093, and even with the intergalactic beasts problem, humans were still hunting each other for sport. It was like Hunger Games on hard mode with a side of monster meal times. From the looks of things, Jesus had had enough of our shite and called his daddy to start the rapture. Psycho criminals and savage beasts were running the streets. 2 years later, humans were so hopeless that they were counting their days to be voted off the island into the sweet dark abyss of nothingness. Others survived by being in a constant state of hyper-alertness. Panic mode initiated, PTSS activate. This was the time humanity's first ever superhero emerged, Mr. Invincible, also known as Zero. Interesting name for a hero, probably indicates the number of girls he's been with. Zero was like Superman on steroids. Bro destroyed them savage beasts like it was nothing. He'd also took on the mafias of the world like it was Law and Order Special Victims, Special Edition. Within no time, he'd saved the people of the world all by himself. Zero even decapitated the king of monsters. He was our #1 guy. But then one day he just disappears. No one knows where he's gone or when he'll return. Luckily, his great power and heroism inspired other soups from every continent to join together and form the Hero Association. This organization scouts, tests, and deploys soups to battle bandits and beasts alike. The soups and the supervillains are classified into 8 ranks, ranging from SS to E. All this brings us back to the start of G's story. Don't forget that G is our burned-out hero Zero. To cope with his new reality, all big homie wants to do is game, watch Saitama recap channel, and eat. All while he expects his baby sis to clean his pigsty of a room, cook his meals, and live with his gamer neckbeard insult stinky bottom whose gaming chair smells like actual human waste cause bro stopped showering, and just like Cartman can't take a poo break. Manic depression for the win. One day, while walking the streets searching for lost change or cigarette butts, G passes an open-air performance of a local popular male group, kinda like an Timu version of the Backstreet Boys or BTS for you youngins. Our group are members of the famous Shishin fighting family and are performing for their most loyal female fans. While singing, a gang of C-class criminals called the Black Hand suddenly start emptying their clips at the lead singer. The head henchman says he's come to end their lives for messing with his homies and sends out the rest of his crew to finish them off. Real thuggish and vengeful and ready to throw down. Surprisingly, the Shishin brothers can walk it like they talk it, and those Backstreet Boys knockoffs beat the brakes off the baddies, who knew they were Migos in disguise. Soon only the leader of the Black Hand gang remains. He takes matters into his own hands and challenges the Shishin boss to a duel. But he gets them hands and hits the ground like an NPC catching an error. G decides to quietly join the fray by quickly foot cuffing the bad bossman using some dominatrix quality cuffs that only SWAT-level police have access to. Come to find out, the Black Hand gang were hired by the Shishin family's lead singer himself to trick his adoring public and get some extra clout. These terrible singers will really do anything for clout. Thinking that this was a ploy to arrest him, the Black Hand head henchman goes apeshite and somehow transforms into a broke man's version of the Hulk, revealing that he is a level B villain. Old boy is not to be taken lightly. He uses one punch to send that boy band singer flying, and then easily assaults the rest of the band without even really trying. All of a sudden, an E-rank new recruit named Zan arrives on the scene. He arrogantly orders the Black Hand hulked-up henchman to surrender. He seems to be rocking some high-tech laser gloves and starts to aim, but his high-tech gloves are not high-tech at all. They backfire and send Zan flailing through the air. Up he jumps and tries to blame Hulky for that embarrassing backflip. He attempts to regain some honor by using hand-to-hand combat, but again goes flailing. Dude won't give up and uses every single piece of trashy tech in his itinerary. Get it up, son, you aren't Shuri from Wakanda. But Zan keeps jumping up after each fail like a brave cockroach. This greatly irritates our Black Hand Hulk, who decides to end him once and for all. Zan bravely warns Jie to run away. Jie responds that Zan is about to get his angel wings, but our bravely stupid ranker declares himself a hero, meaning he will not run away and let a civilian be harmed. These words activate Jie's guilty conscience. He is more than just this depressed neckbeard loser. Out of nowhere, he pulls a huge spiky metal club. Shout out Lucille from The Walking Dead. That thing is massive and violates all the laws of science, as I'm sure it's about to violate Hulkiana over there. Jie jumps into action and smashes Hulkiana's skull in. Talk about a home run of the worst kind. Zan, struck by those impressive battle skills, becomes a fangirl and begs Jie to partner up with him as his assistant. Wow, classy move, Zan. Zan is sure that his genius and his tech combined with Jie's unstoppable power would make them the #1 fighting duo. While he begs and pleads, a shiny black car pulls up and a Kim Kardashian crossed with Storm from the X-Men lookalike steps out. Apparently she is one of the top 3 ranked superheroes in H City named Lady Winter Sorceress. She walks over and starts questioning Zan, asking what the heck happened. Zan, ever the eternal fangirl, immediately asks for an autograph. He then straight up lies and says that he defeated the B-class Hulk thanks to his high-tech gear and jiu-jitsu moves. He then has the audacity of introducing Jie as his low-level assistant, but Miss Kardashian, the Lady Winter Sorceress, dumbly asks him if he's on something as Jie has already exited stage left. Jie runs home and happens to eavesdrop on baby sis brawling with her man, Long Wenfeng. She tells him she's a girl boss and has already applied to work at Professor Qin's research institute. Wenfeng, being a macho millionaire, demands she instead work for him. Nah bro. Baby sis is an independent woman. She tells him that she's not for sale, nor does he own her, and she literally kicks him to the curb. Jie enters the home and wonders why his sis keeps brawling with and rejecting Richie Rich. Sis responds that the only man for her is our hero Zero. But she doesn't know he's her big bro. We do though, and it's super cringe and incesty. To change the subject, they start arguing about his continuing joblessness. She quotes The Offspring, asking Nana, why don't you get a job? They continue arguing, and it's revealed that Mom and Pop didn't just run away. They both exited the mortal plane a good 10 years ago. Just as Lil Sis is about to brawl with him, Zan knocks on their door. The little stalker followed him home. He again offers Jie a partnership and apprenticeship, concluding with a promise of a full salary and even some bonuses. Baby Sis becomes overjoyed and accepts on his behalf. No more depressive mooching for you, Jie. He and Zan then head over to the Hero Association's facility to register. Once there, they see a display of large statues, one of Zero alongside some other SS rank heroes. Curious, Jie asks who those other statues belong to. Zan is dumbfounded and explains that these are the heroes who fought alongside Zero, helping him save the world. Surprise, surprise, Jie has never met any of those fake pretenders, as he had done all the saving solo. Then they enter the testing area where B-ranked hero Yatan, a beast of a man, will be testing him on his strength and physical abilities. Yatan, ever the macho, insults Jie and warns that if Jie can resist his strength for 3 minutes, he'll pass him. Jie just as arrogantly responds with, what happens if I beat you? A flabbergasted Zan interrupts, claiming that's impossible. But Jie's our homie, and he steps forward with zero fear, and their duel begins. Yatan somehow transforms his arms into strange-looking rhino swords. Jie pulls his gigantic iron club out from God knows where. Yatan storms at him and tries to slice him with those rhino swords, but Jie, using only his club as a shield, somehow stops the attack. Everyone is stunned, and even Yatan bows to his strength, saying he's the strongest candidate he's ever met. Yatan gives a quick emo speech and then tries to blindside our boy with a sneak attack. Jie blocks it, but then it's on like Donkey Kong. Yatan is throwing boulders which his rhino arms dig out of the floor. The onslaught is terrifying, but Jie gives just as good as he gets. It becomes an epic duel, and the clanging of their weapons is deafening. Yatan keeps insulting him, which quickly bores Big Dog Jie. In a power move, he restrains Yatan's arms with his one leg while using his other to give him an overpowered knee to the nose. Finish him. And just like that, Jie has defeated this B-ranked hero, leaving everyone astounded. Next is the written exam, which Jie seems stressed to be taking. You got this, big homie. We check in on Yatan, who seems to be lying in hospital with a concussion and some major anxiety trauma. He'd all kinds of messed up. Miss Kardashian mixed with Storm is waiting at his bedside. She tells him not to worry, as even though G was basically as strong as an ranked hero, our boy is as dumb as a bag of rocks. His final score was 13, and most of his answers were to eliminate the ops. Yatan reads through his answer sheet, confused by the violent answers. Lady Winter Sorceress tells him to check out the last answer G gave. The question was to describe what a hero means to you. Our boy lets loose all his emo depressing vibes, saying he quit being a hero ages ago. He doesn't know if what he did was truly justice or whether he should be called a hero at all. Chill, big homie. Back to G. He and the rest of the candidates are standing in the main hall by the test results board. When Zan sees G's low test score, he cannot help but laugh and trolls him brutally. Back off, Zan, big homie is going through some things. Luckily, G doesn't seem bothered by this wannabe tech-savvy loser. G walks away, but Zan follows, spouting some nonsense about knowing your strengths, teamwork, connections, promotions, working with others, blah blah blah. G interrupts, saying, wouldn't a weak member drag down the whole team? Can such a person really be called a hero then? Good questions, G. As they argue, they overhear a group of 3 low-class heroes running up on a young dude with glasses. They gang around him and demand he stays far away from them and the Hero Association, or they'll teach him a lesson. Lil Dude defends himself by saying that if he hadn't stepped in to help them, the baddies would have gotten away to hurt others. But these ugly, steroid-abusing half-beast men don't give a damn about innocent people or anyone else. All they care about is increasing their rank. They warn Little Dude if he doesn't resign immediately, they will make his life a living hell. Mr. Four Eyes is no weakling, and he shouts to the rooftops that these beastmen are no heroes, causing them to laugh out loud. I'm sorry, but I was laughing too. They keep insulting him, and even Zero catches some strays. Then they toss him like a banana peel, and our boy G steps in to catch. Fangirl Zan rushes in to punch the beastman, highly offended that he insulted Zero. Beastman easily blocks him and calls him another idiotic Zero fan. As he is about to punch back, G steps in between them. He warns the bullies to back off. They laugh and reveal themselves to be the famous group of D-ranked heroes, the Golden Triangle Brothers. Then a blue-haired dude interrupts and asks for a quick chat. The Golden Triangle Brothers immediately recognize him as the infamous unlucky E-ranked hero named the Spectre of Terror, or 13 for short. As he walks towards them, he says insulting Zero is unforgivable. It seems they know enough of 13 not to mess with him, so those beastmen turn into little kitty cats and run away as fast as their fluffy little paws can carry them. G and the rest are left pleasantly surprised. Little Dude with the specs introduces himself as Yan King. Zan calls him Specs and trolls him, but G acts his age and introduces himself and Zan. He then politely inquires just who the heck 13 is and why are people afraid of him. 13 introduces himself and gives a little backstory. He may just be an E-ranker, but most fear him. Most won't even talk to him as they fear him that much. G wonders if 13 has any friends, but 13 smoothly responds, who needs friends when I have a digital waifu? An animated girl crush on an app is so much better than a deep, loving, reciprocal relationship. Didn't ya know? Zan and Yan seem horrified by this revelation, but G rushes over. He too is a man who loves him some animated lollies. G excitedly shows his 2D girl crush, and an immediate friendship is born. Bromance for the win. The boys embrace, and G asks 13 if he would like to partner up with them. 13 gets all emo and immediately accepts, stating that in the last 5 years not a single person had offered to partner with him. Bro is high-key emotional, and it's great to see a man who shows his feelings. Yan King politely inquires about 13's abilities, only to hear that his powers are bad luck. What does that even mean, bro? G asks if his powers gives bad luck to enemies, but nope, he gives misfortune to all who are near him. Damn, bro. We get a flashback into his past and learn that he's been cursed since childhood with powerful bad luck energy, so bad that people named him the Spectre of Terror. As a small child, his orphanage burned to the ground. He was the only survivor. The next orphanage was destroyed by a landslide. Again, the only survivor. Every single orphanage he went to ended up destroyed. I say you were the luckiest kid there, but okay. Eventually, young 13 just lived in the streets. On the bright side, even with all his bad luck, sometimes he had great luck, and he tells us the story of how Zero saved him from a monster. G2 gets a flashback and remembers how he almost lost his life that night. Ha ha ha. 13 punches a pillar from the excitement of sharing his story, and thanks to his bad luck, he strikes a weak part of the building as suddenly the roof starts collapsing on everyone's heads. King gets squashed under a massive piece of debris while G hurries to save a child from that same fate. G yells at 13 to rescue the injured as the bad luck doesn't harm him. Everyone meets up at the hospital, which is overflowing with injured people. King manages to survive the squashing and we see him inside a healing chamber, bandaged up like a mummy. 13 feels terrible for the hurt he'd unwittingly inflicted, but G tells him to get over it and that accidents happen, and he is still a part of their crew. An hilarious argument ensues, but eventually King and Zan also agree. They do ask him not to get too close as he could hurt them, but G is happy to have his fellow waifu-loving gamer buddy by his side. After King makes a full recovery, the guys are all hanging out, catching some sun, and snacking away. They have a new mission sent through an anonymous letter. At first, they assumed it was a "Will you be my Valentine," but they seem to have forgotten that Zero women find them attractive. Harsh, their mission is to capture some thugs who are trading in black market goods. These thugs are supposed to have some C-level members in their gang, but for some strange reason unlucky accidents have been befalling them, so the gang's numbers have dwindled greatly. Our crew have been camping out on a nearby building as 13 stays on the lookout while G and Zan relax as if they are on vacation. King is hard at work playing their butler and fixing up tech. Everyone knows that it's thanks to 13 and his curse that most of the baddies are out of commission. They even joke around that if 13 keeps following them, he'll eliminate the whole gang, and the guys wouldn't have to lift a finger. Mission accomplished. Zan is worried that the Hero Association may penalize them for not dealing with the gangsters directly though. When it comes to King, Zan forgets they are on a mission and keeps ordering poor specs around to do his dirty work. Annoying? Back to 13, he explains that today is a big day for the baddies and things are about to get spicy as our boys have to catch them red-handed. 13 quickly informs us that the targets have met up, just as King teleports to the rooftop. Zan, not trying to be upstaged by that teleportation move, insists that he goes first. He pops on some high-tech rocket boots and whizzes off in the wrong direction. Bless his heart. Back to our baddies. They are about to trade off, but before paying they ask for a demonstration. Those selling agree. We see some lovely raw sewage sucked into a machine. Other chemicals are added, and after a big flash, the chamber opens and out steps a giant slime monster made of poop and other lovely ingredients. Yeah, for recycling. Mr. Poop Slime is remote controlled, which is an extra feature alongside its enormous size and super strength. The thugs nearly wet their pants with joy at the thought of possessing such poopy power. Then King enters the scene, looking like a 10-year-old schoolboy, and announces that they are registered heroes and they'd come to lock them up. He introduces the rest of the crew. G, who's barely interested, 13, who seems excited, and Zan, who crashes to ground and almost takes himself out. The gangster who tried to buy Mr. Poop Slime orders his men to shoot. We see some more of King's abilities, because he somehow has unlimited spectacles which he throws at the criminals and then teleports into each pair. He then manages to take all their weapons before he teleports next to 13. Then the maker of Mr. Poop Slime steps into the fray. He activates Mr. Poop Slime with his remote and causes it to attack. 13 pulls a machine out and starts blasting the slime to Kingdom Come. To make things extra spicy, he throws a bag of spicy chili sticks into Mr. Poop Slime's mouth. Nobody likes spicy food shoved in their mouths, so Mr. Poop Slime loses his mind and starts hunting them down. Running for their lives, they beg G for help. He pulls out his trusty butt, club, and home run hits the monster straight into the city center. Mr. Poop Slime lands in a busy street and starts attacking people with his stench and overall unpleasantness. G is there in the nick of time and lands a few more well-placed hits. These hits may be effective, but G is basically just splashing raw sewage around, covering people and buildings in literal poo. Just then Zan arrives, offering some assistance in the form of his special plasma cleanser, which apparently can clean up anything, no matter how vile and disgusting. Maybe you, my dear viewers, should get one to clean up your rooms. He powers up the weapon and uses his rocket boots for speed. Unfortunately, he runs straight into Mr. Poop Slime's belly and gets stuck, face first in a mountain of shite. Jie manages to save him, but Zan, ever the unstoppable, announces that he's found its weak spot and will do better in his second try. Confidently, he steps back into the fight. Mr. Poop Slime fights back with several tentacles of shite launching like spears, but Zan ducks and dives and dodges all like a true pro. The battle ends with him sticking his powerful weapon deep inside the gigantic gooey monster, making it squirt gloriously clean tsunamis of water. Poor Mr. Poop Slime is eradicated and washed away, cleaning up the mess he made along the way. That's when King and 13 get to the scene and notice a happy crowd forming around Jie. Apparently, the cleaned-up poop water had magical healing and transformative abilities. Jie keeps it real and admits that Zan is the true hero of the day. Everyone turns to look at Zan, and he's crouching over a lolly and seems to be crying. Weird moment, bro. At the end of the day, our crew are dissecting their battle and complaining that even though they defeated and captured 2 gangs, the association only gave them a tiny reward. King blames Zan, saying it must be due to his unwholesome public behavior with that little lolly. It seems she's followed them home, and even though Jie tries to question her, asking what's her name or who her parents are, she keeps mum and sips her drink. King is still choking Zan as they figure out what to do with her. Just then the doorbell rings and Storm Kardashian is standing at the door. She enters and King and Zan turn into little puppies at the sight of her, but she gives the lolly some playful attention and compliments the crew on the success of their first mission. Jie is not impressed and asks her to get to the point. Somehow he knows her visit is linked to the girl. She acknowledges this and hands over a USB, telling them to plug it in. She explains that a few years ago, the Gene Evolutionary Corp was formed. They created global charities for orphan children, but it was all a setup to gain access to children to use them as lab rats for sick experiments. The little lolly was the only successful survivor of their experimentation facilities. All other innocent children perished at their hands. Upon hearing this information, Jie flies into a blind rage and more of his unmatched overpowered abilities are shown to us. Big Homie is righteously pissed, and who can blame him? Save the children. He demands to know just what the Hero Association has been doing about this and why they haven't ended them all yet. Then he quickly realizes that he needs to take a chill pill as he was choking them all out with his uncontrollable rage. He apologizes and sweetly says sometimes his emotions get a little out of control. Talk about an understatement. Anyhow, Miss Storm responds that yes, they have spent years investigating the Gene Corp, but somehow they have always evaded capture. After some personal snooping, she discovered that the baddies had infiltrated the Hero Association, and to her unpleasant surprise, this went all the way to the top. The very chairman of the Hero Association, Yang Ru. Apparently, the little lolly is essential to the Gene Corp research, and they were hunting her and trying to find her by any means necessary. Jie questions why the Winter Sorceress, as a senior member of the association, can't handle this herself, but she disheartedly replies that they'll be coming after her soon enough, so there's no way she can guarantee the young girl's safety. She knows for a fact that super assassins are on their way to recapture the lolly. The next day, Jie and the crew invite his sister along to help them shop for the girl and feed and care for her in a way they cannot. You know, they may be soups, but they lack the mothering touch. Juan is immediately suspicious and harshly questions him, wondering where they kidnapped this lolly from. Jie informs his baby sis that they rescued her and she's a helpless orphan in need of protection. This immediately softens his sister's heart, and she cuddles the girl and promises to care for her. Off they go shopping while Jie and the guys promise to stay close by if needed. Out of nowhere, the Diamond Triangle brothers pop up and demand they accompany them for an interrogation into the whereabouts of the Winter Sorceress. Who things are moving fast now? Jie responds with, heck no, we won't go, and this marks the starting point of an alleyway fisticuff, or so I thought, as the Diamond brothers were quite confident since 13 wasn't with our boys. They charge at Jie and the rest, but are promptly knocked out. Jie is disgusted by how weak those puppies really are. Zan then reminds them that they promised Juan they'd stay close by, and the boys quickly run off to catch up with her. They find Juan and are pleasantly surprised at Lolly's new look. Juan has also named the girl Moo. She begs her brother to let her care for the girl and let her stay with them under their protection. Jie cannot resist his sister's begging and pleading and agrees as do the rest as Jie is the strongest amongst them. They split up and Jie brings his sis and Moo to safety while the rest of the guys prepare for what's to come. Meanwhile, at the Hero Association headquarters, Chairman Ru is losing his shit. He is big mad that the D-rank brothers couldn't handle a bunch of E-rank losers. Some shady-looking dude is sitting in the corner sipping some tea, calm as can be. He tells the chairman to calm his tits. Mr. Shitty Pants will send his subordinates to stand on business and do what needs to be done. As night falls, some sexy ninja mammy enters Zan's home and attacks a mannequin with a weird device in its mouth. She freaks as its head falls off and assumes it's something that it's not. She screams as she looks up to see a wall covered in eyeless mannequin heads with similar devices shoved in their mouths. Zan rushes in wondering what's going on, but the ninja calls him a monster and tells him to have a taste of his own perverted invention. Okay, she shoves the device into his mouth and Zan lets out a moan and we see liquid dripping on the floor beneath him, bro. Come to find out these are high-tech toothbrushes that he created for his hero missions. Ah, not as perverted as it looked. Embarrassed, the sexy ninja grabs a lightsaber handle that looks like it came straight off the Star Wars movie set. She immediately tries to take him out with it, but unbeknownst to her, it's another one of his inventions. This one is the plasma body cleanser, which leaves him sparkling clean and also butt naked. Miss Ninja Girl is overwhelmed, excited and traumatized by all that has happened, and also the sight of Jan's ding-a-ling is too much to behold. She screams elephant and jumps out of a glass window with tears running down her face. Back at Jie's apartment, he is chilling on the couch watching Netflix and trying to stay awake. Moo and Wan are showering when Jie notices some perv watching them from a tree outside. He instantly appears behind the Peeping Tom, who is an A-rank assassin. Peeping Tom has the ability of turning his hands into sharp, long blades. As he is about to attack, Jie smacks him down and reminds him that since this is just a job, he need not give his all. Employers call that quiet quitting. Peeping Tom gets pissed, pulls out a needle and injects himself with some kind of steroids known as berserker juice. This transforms him into an S-rank monster. Powerful but not cute. He starts to show off and teleports behind Jie, trying to catch him from behind. Pause. But Jie is unfazed and slices off his arm, while calling him a pantsless pervert. Peeping Tom just regenerates his arm and retaliates using a multiple punch attack. Jie dodges this with ease and uses one punch to take him down. One Punch Man, watch out. Jie then casually walks away, telling Peeping Tom to return to his master and leave the girl alone. Peeping Tom arrogantly states that Jie may be able to hurt him, but he'll never be able to excommunicate him as his regeneration power will always heal him. And every time he heals, he'll be right back to hunting his baby sis and little Moo. They'll never be safe as long as he lives. Oh. You messed up now, brother. Jie stops dead in his tracks, slowly turns and tells dude in the most alpha way ever that his time on this earth is up. His metal club transforms into a sword, and the Peeping Tom monster along with half the mountain behind them is destroyed in one fell swoop. Jie promises that no one he cares about will ever be harmed again. He returns home and sits back and reminisces on his conversation with Storm Kardashian. She had warned them that in 3 days' time, the chairman would be meeting with the Gene Corp. This would be the perfect opportunity to capture them or take them all out. Jie considers all that has transpired since heroes came into existence. How modern-day heroes are only in it for fame, glory, and money. That none of them have what it truly takes to sacrifice and protect the helpless. He promises to restore the Hero Association to its former glory and will use the upcoming battle to remove the elements of evil like Chairman Ru. Later, we see Jie, Zan, and King join the Winter Sorceress at their secret base. She shares her plan of taking out Chairman Ru and the Gene Corporation in one go, but more help will be needed. Storm Kardashian has invited some A-rank heroes like the Ice Fairy Shio Yi and the Muscle Alliance group as backup. Failure is no option, for if they were to fail, the Berserker juice would flood the market and very bad people would become very powerful. There's some weird tension between Jie and Ice Fairy Yi and they start quibbling over nothing. King chimes in, but she kicks him super hard right in the tests and calls him a four-eyed freak. Ouch! The sorceress steps in and tells everyone to calm their overhyped up butts down. Everyone is essential for their success. She also reminds them that 13, thanks to his unluck, has already made money moves by destroying the Gene Corps headquarters in the city, so the rest of them better start playing nice so as not to fail the mission due to internal issues. They regroup later that night at the location of the meeting between Ru and Gene Corp. The super muscular members of the Muscle Alliance group have joined them, and they can't get enough of G's slender, tender arms. He tells them to F off and calls them muscle gaillards, which made me cackle. At that very moment, a helicopter lands right in front of Ru. The president of the Gene company named Gan waits inside. Suddenly, the super muscle boys start screaming and run towards it. Their brains must be underdeveloped as they just start attacking, forgetting that they are supposed to be signal first. Not wanting to be left behind, Zan and Yi follow suit. Ru immediately responds by sending in his muscled-up soups, and it's on like Donkey Kong. Ji slowly walks toward Ru, while the Gene Corp president jumps back in the helicopter and starts taking off to evade capture. Storm Kardashian, aka the sorceress, yells at Yi to stop them. She is hovering above the helicopter with wings made of ice. Quite impressive if you ask me. Yi shoots shards of ice at the heli, causing it to crash in a fiery explosion, but a sniper shoots her down too. King rushes over to save her, proving that he's no coward, while Ji and the sorceress confront Ru. We learn that the sniper is named Hunter, and he is the top-ranked hero of H City. His ability is omniscience and controlling bullet direction. Storm Kardashian asks Ji to handle Gan while she takes on the chairman. Ji heads to the site of the crash to confront Gan, the Gene Corp president. Funny enough, he is Mr. Shady Pants, who had told Ru earlier to calm his tits while he sent his personal assassins, Ninja Babe and Peeping Tom, to take out Ji and Zan. As Gan and Ji get to know each other, Ninja Girl sneak attacks and attempts to slice and dice our hero. But he pimp slaps her like she owes him money and sends her silly bum flying back to her master. Zan spots the commotion and decides to help out by fighting the sexy ninja mommy, and Ji and Gan get into it. Basically everybody's fighting everybody, and it's tense and exciting AF. Zan and the ninja are almost evenly matched, and their hand-to-hand combat is intense. But at the critical moment he hits her so hard old girl starts puking. Damn? He tells her to surrender, but she says she'll never surrender to a perv like him. You are the one to force things in his mouth and strip him naked, mommy. You are the perv, Miss Ninja Girl. Anyway, Ninja Babe calls him a Richie Rich and starts striking him from all sides with her weapon. Zan manages to dodge her attack until she gets a hit in and red foam sprays. Zan asks if she's done yet and can they negotiate. She says there's nothing to negotiate, she's there to end him. He slyly offers her a job and says he treats his employees excellently. Zan goes off on some Aladdin-type flirting, talking about I can show you the world, shining shimmering splendor. He offers her a whole new world, sing it with me, ha ha ha, and a whole new life, a life without having to assassinate others. She calls him a perverted show-off, and getting rid of him is all she needs to do. But Zan is a slick one, and as the romantic music starts playing in the background, he uses his Korean drama technique, promising to be her hero and her sugar daddy. This talk jutsu is super powerful, and Ninja Babe falls in his arms crying, wow bro, Zan is a Giva Chad. Back to King and Yi. He runs over to help her, but she rudely insults him, calls him a burden, and tries to chase him away. At that moment, Hunter the sniper fires at them again, and Yi creates an ice shield to block the bullets. Her insults cause him to question himself, but when he sees her thrown through the air from a well-placed bullet that destroys her shield, he leaps into action and catches her before she falls. They teleport into the forest, high up in a tree. He remembers who the hell he is and takes control, demanding she fire at his command. He uses some technical logistics to figure out Hunter's location and tells her to fire, freezing up the sniper in a wall of ice. Hunter gets hit but teleports away, and Yi finally sees him for the man he is and compliments him. While they are distracted, Hunter teleports right behind them and uses his X-Force field to knock King out of the tree while trapping Yi. He jumps down to where King is lying and starts playing Punch the Fist to the face. He is a master at this game. While stomping King's head, he reveals to Yi that his force field device is special technology gifted to him by Ru, and Gene Corp has given him body modifications that aren't available anywhere to anyone. He is a one-of-a-kind execution machine. He asks Yi if she's ready to meet her maker, but King gets to his feet and tries to fight back. Hunter punches King so hard bro looks like he is dancing the Swan Lake, and does a sideways pirouette in the air before falling face first back to earth. Double ouch, Yi screams, but Hunter says not to worry, they'll see each other in hell soon enough. Hunter has comebacks for days. But his words fire King up one more time, and he pulls an explosive device out of his pocket, basically saying, "Make my day, punk," Dirty Harry style. He throws and he misses. Aish. Hunter power kicks him into a tree and turns towards Yi, getting ready to blast her into infinity. But King, using his glasses technique, teleports back in and throws a solid punch right at Hunter's metal face. His face, like I said, is metal, so the punch has zero effect. Hilarious. Hunter's had just about enough of King's annoying antics, so he activates Ike Turner mode. He beats the brakes off that boy. Sadly, King tries one more attempt to fight back by trying to activate another bomb, but before he can push the trigger, Hunter double fists him in a move so powerful the ground shakes. Bro is done for. As Yi watches Four Eyes crash to the ground, her full power is released and she breaks through the force field using her cross-execution technique. She rushes over to her goofy simp boy and cries for him. Back to Ji, who has his his iron club pulled out and ready. He and Gan start getting into it, but none of Gan's moves have any effect on Ji. To deal with the embarrassment, he gets the biggest vial of copium, berserker juice, and injects a large dose. Dude looks like Popeye who ate all the spinach. That stuff even makes his hair grow. His luscious locks combined with the temperament of Hulk on a bad day is a sight to behold. Panting Popeye promises to eliminate Ji, but Ji just gives a little smile and ducks and dives and smacks the shite out of him. He one-punch mans him so hard a literal crater is formed. Gan looks like a frog human mutant the way Ji messed his face up. Ji calls him a weakling and walks off. In the meantime, Winter Sorceress shows us just why I nicknamed her Storm Kardashian. She challenges Rue and transforms her pretty hands into giant ice blades. As she rushes towards him, Rue retaliates by shooting several metallic shards at her. She blocks them all and even manages to get a few hits in. Unfortunately, as the smoke clears, we see an ominous red glowing eye, and it's revealed that Rue is wearing his special ZJ armor and remains unhurt. Bravely, she rushes in again, but Rue is feeling froggy, so he jumps. He Mike Tysons her with a 1-2 punch and beats her like a bongo drum. He grabs her hair to pull her to her feet and smugly asks her if she regrets challenging him. Our girl spits a loogie right in his smug face, but that just seems to excite him. She tells him real heroes never regret fighting evil and warns him many others will take her place in fighting him. While he condescendingly insults her and the others, she secretly powers up her ice fist technique and attempts to strike him. But he easily crushes her blade with his bare hand and starts beating her head into the ground like an angry ex-boyfriend with impulse control. That's if your ex was King Kong on steroids. He then lifts her by the neck and tells her to say night-night. Rue starts berating and insulting her and her crew, laughing at the suffering they all are enduring, telling her it's over for her and he will not take her insubordination lightly. She responds that she fears no man and quickly uses her Ice Lotus ability to hold him in place. He smugly responds that her weak-ass attack is basically useless, but she says all she needs to do is keep him there for a moment. Then she calls out to Ji. On her signal, Ji leaps into the frame. He strikes the evil Rue with his mighty weapon and sends him flying. Ji helps Storm to her feet, and they face Rue head-on and tell him to give up while he still can. But Rue is an undercover neckbeard, and his insecurities cannot handle defeat. He pulls his own vial of cold-pressed, extra-refined copium extract and injects it straight to the neck. He has a crazy look in his eyes, and dude spazzes out while transforming into a giant armadillo turtle-like mutated S-level monster. With glowing eyes and spikes for teeth, he starts shooting razor spikes all around him. While the spikes before were thin but dangerous, these new ones are much more powerful and explode upon impact. Rue keeps attacking the sorceress with his spikes, assuming he has already beaten Ji. He almost catches her unaware, but Ji springs into action and blocks all attacks with his club. Ji-Bum rushes Rue and strikes hard, destroying his spike defenses and managing a blow to the face all in one move. He knocks him to his knees. As snot flows from his nose, he questions if G2 is an S-ranked fighter that somehow circumvented their ability measurements. G laughingly says they ranked him as E. Rue states that whatever G's rank is, he cannot possibly defeat him. I think you're making a mistake, buddy. But okay. Ru speedily teleports behind him, attempting a sneak attack. He misses. He tries and tries and tries but misses every attempt. Jie dodges him as if the Los Angeles Dodgers were named after him. Finally, he stops his punch with a single hand. Jie grabs Ru and with a spin throws him in the air and jumps up after him. Ru smiles evilly and sends hundreds of shards at Jie, but he craftily avoids them all and lifts his giant club to strike Ru one last time. A flash is seen in the sky, and some kind of red fiery ball spins from the heavens to the earth, exploding on impact. Jie lands gracefully, and Storm asks if he excommunicated Ru from this mortal plane, but Jie says nope, he held back just enough to put Bro in a coma. She questions him if he truly is an S rank, but Jie has no idea. I will say, when we saw the picture of his parents back in the beginning, it looked as if his daddy may have been Say Timma. Plus, his one-punch knockouts give credulity to my theory. Anyway, that's when Zan and his little gold digger enter the scene, and Jie teases them with some hilarious insults. Ninja Babe throws Zan down and comments that she just accepted his job offer, nothing more. Jie responds that only the rich can get away with buying off their would-be assassins, and keeps teasing him while Zan lies on the ground with red splooge leaking out his wounds and his mouth. He begs for some assistance, and Jie helps him up and asks that Miss Ninja be spared as a favor to him. Jie agrees as long as Zan will buy him some food. Problem solved. Long live the rich, as Jie says. Everyone is elated with the successful mission. Then Yi joins them with an unconscious king on her back, screaming for help.